Kodal Minerals has shot up over 38% in the last 5 days. In today's video, we're going to explore the reasons why this has happened and what is to come for Kodal Minerals shareholders. Welcome back everyone to Buy Wholesale. I hope of course you're all well. As we've been talking about on this channel for about 4.5 years now, and I just want to add there, we are actually over 5 years on this channel now. We had our 5th year anniversary on the 11th. Delighted to be here 5 years later. It's an incredible journey, and Kodal Minerals has very much been a large part of that. Fundamentally, Kodal Minerals, as we've been covering over the last load of months, has finally delivered on its promise of selling spodumene. We have delivered this to the port and we are expecting an announcement any moment now to say that we have been paid for delivering this spodumene. And what I'm going to do is bring up the presentation that was released yesterday. This is downloadable on their website, and you can see this is the investor presentation, and you can see here this isn't a small operation. A lot of people involved here to deliver on this project, and shout out to all of them. Well done, they have delivered this. So Kodal at a glance, so you can see here is a West African focused lithium producer, explorer and developer. This has been a very long project. In 2013, Kodal Minerals admitted to the trading on AIM. It acquired the Bougouni Lithium Project in 2016. Mining license was granted in 2021. A study update outlined the fast track DMS development of Bougouni. And as I said, we've been covering it since 2021. So we've been through this whole process. We've got 118 million funding from Hainan to develop the Bougouni Lithium Project. Construction commenced on 2024. The transition to 2023 Mali mining code. And in 2025, the first production in the Q1 25 and ramp up advanced. And this little sharehold structure gives you an idea of where everything kind of sits. And this is how their share prices pretty much went the last 6 months, and we'll do some technical analysis later on, so we'll talk a bit more about that then. And the highlight here is that Kodal Minerals went from developer to critical metals producer in 12 months. They completed the construction of the Stage 1 Bougouni Lithium Project on schedule. Very, very important to say that. Most construction projects don't go on schedule. This was on schedule within the 65 million budget, so brilliant budgeting, brilliant forecasting by the team here. And then they achieved their first production in February 2025 with concentrate grades of above 5.53. And don't forget, 6% is seen as the absolute gold standard, and we're not that far off that. So that again is brilliant, and it is optimum grade for EV batteries. Granted export permit for Mali government in September to ship initial 125,000 tons of the concentrate to China. Year to date, spodumene and 25k ready for shipment to the port in the Ivory Coast. Finalised 4-year offtake agreement in June with development partner Hainan mining of 100% of Bougouni spodumene product. And here's the leadership structure. We all know about Big Bernie. He's been our CEO the whole entire time. Very knowledgeable, and he has done a fantastic job here. I really have to emphasize this because we've been in other penny stocks of similar grade, like Premier African Minerals. It's night and day. It really, really is. This has been such a well-run project, and they've delivered on everything that they have said. No thrills, just head down, get the work done. It's been very, very good. And here is the rest of the team. Accounting for 8 years at PwC, one of the biggest firms in the world. Robert is all about that, and he has clearly done great due diligence here as well. So look, shout out to the whole team there. I'm not leaving anybody out, just you can read into that yourself. You can get an idea here of the size of this project. I mean, this is a great picture. You can really see here the part of it, the crushing circuit, the DMS plant, where the thickening happens, the whole place, the filtration, and then the concentrate stockpile. And you can see loads of this white stuff. So this is a real good operation, big operation, and it's very nice to see this sort of in an image. This is important as well. The exploration of Bougouni, extending its life of mine LOM to 2038. 2038. That is a long time for this mine to develop and bring in money for us. And here's a bit more information about all that. But the life of mine, 2038. Wow. So the Bougouni Lithium Project 2 Stage 2 development is right here. As you can see, this is the stage development strategy to maximize future production. And this is something that we will be using, I assume, the money to develop further. Perhaps even a buyout, perhaps a better deal, a partner. Who knows what the future looks like here, but clearly we're delivering on it and there is room for expansion. So it's just a formality, and I can't really see why shareholders should be like diluted or anything for this. If we are able to bring in money or a partner, surely that would be the best course of action. So that's very exciting. We have legs for days on this. And again, that is how we're going to get to 2038. And the Bougouni Lithium Project potential to scale. And here's the details. Here's the numbers indicated, inferred, and total. And you can sort of see the tonnage here. This is serious amount of potential money, revenue for the company. The mine production in 2025 to 2026, Stage 1 DMS. with the spodumene product total target of 230,000 tons by the end of 2026. And you can see how they're going to deliver on that, which is a nice little graph just to sort of illustrate all that. And a little bit about the partner then. Hainan Mining is a subsidiary of Fosun International, and they're just worth just a 45 billion in the Hong Kong listed stock market, with 112 billion in assets. So, we're not talking a small partner here. We're talking a huge partner with plenty of expertise that are all over this. And I think that's very, very important to illustrate and highlight. These guys are serious about this project. They're serious about what potential this has. And the mining, like I said, for another 13 years potentially of a mining, it's a formality, nothing more than that. This is going to happen, in my opinion, and you must do your own due diligence. Of course, it's still a penny stock, still got risks, but this looks very, very promising. We've covered all this in our videos. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but November 2023, Hainan invested 100 million for a 51% stake in the Bougouni asset, and he acquired 14.7 of Kodal Minerals PLC for a further 17.75 million investment to advance the portfolio of assets. So that's how we've had to raise money effectively. We've had to sell some shares, but that's a normal practice. And he went on to see here, Hainan acquired 100% offtake of the spodumene product at the Bougouni Stage 1, price based on the Shanghai Minerals Market spodumene. 95% of the shipment value received on loading of the vessel in Westport, Africa. And that's the stage we're at. And we're going to have a look at some of the boats and some great stuff in the Discord in here in a moment, just to further highlight that. And where the majority of this is going to go on EVs. In China, Korea, and Japan, they supply automakers. So the export permit was granted in September 2025 for the initial 125,000 tons trucking of the spodumene product from site to ports contracted to the Malian Transport Company. We'll cover this in the other video, the risks there. I'm not going to highlight it. I wanted this to be a very bullish video, but there is risks with the current Mali sort of government and then the hostile situation. But as we pointed out in that video, we are a good 3-4 hours away from all that troubles that are happening. We were going further south to these two ports in San Pedro and Grand Bassam, and that is where we are currently sitting. Options to export the product from either of those ports was an option. It was a 6-day journey to get there, well-established truck routes with one border crossing. So we're not too far to get over the border away from the hostile situation. 30,000 tons of lithium product trucked to port of San Pedro, ready for maiden shipment to China before the end of November 2025. So we are, like I said at the start of this video, we're waiting on this news any moment now. Why lithium? Look, we know the situation. Here's the details here. You can cover it. That's why we invested and identified this company 4 odd years ago, because we know EVs, batteries, all that was the future, and we tried to get to the source and hopefully find a good penny stock, and it looks like we have done that on this occasion. Operating in Mali, while it has conflict and issues, it seems to be that Kodal, Bernie and the team have a good relationship with the government, which is very, very important. It really, really is, especially with the hostile situation. And they're obviously hiring a lot of people and they're doing good stuff within the community. So again, well done to Kodal for all that. And this is a great presentation. I do wonder, is this presentation being used to perhaps for further investment, for people to get interested in it, ultimately retail to buy more of the stock? And partly why I'm doing this video is because I feel like there is an opportunity here that people could be taking advantage of. Again, do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. And people do forget, including myself sometimes, it's not the reason why I invested in Kodal, but they do have gold assets as well. So here's the next steps in a nutshell: transition into fully fledged revenue generating miner following first exports, ramp up nameplate, ESG maiden sustainability report to be published. We've got that coming in the coming months. Solidify position as a critical minerals producer with targeted M&A strategy, and that's going to be throughout 2026. And then the goal in 2028 will be to commence stage 2 Bougouni production. So we've already done this. We know how to run a plant. We know how to get the operation up and running. We're just going to have to replicate it. So I fully believe that any snags or any teething problems that we will have had, we will have learned from. So it should be even a smoother operation, if that is even possible, considering how well this has been ran. So I really like that presentation. I feel like that was worth bringing to you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some of the stuff in the Discord. Plenty of information in here. Great guys, Rags, Rogue Plank, Colin, loads of information. It makes my job a lot easier. Fantastic guys in the Discord. If you want to get in and see what they're all saying, the links are down below, as I say. But really appreciate everybody that contributes here. It really makes a good community, and it makes us all feel a lot better with the investment. So we can see here spodumene prices a week ago were at 1,000, and you'll see a bit of a reoccurring theme here. It's been going up. Some good information from the guys. We can see here that the presentation that we've reviewed there was in London the last 2 days being presented, and that's probably contributed to the share price as well. 2 days ago, the supply prices were up to 1024, shared by Colin there. Now, Plank actually went far and emailed Steve as we looked at the board of directors. He's one of the people there, and he's asking, have we got the 20k mark? Is the boat on its way to San Pedro? What's the crack with the hostile situation where we're at? And we got a reply from Steve, and he said, check out the presentation, which we've done. Before the end of the week, we should have 30,000 tons of San Pedro ready for shipment. Then first revenue to follow with the price of spodumene on the rise. It is exciting times, and it is indeed, Steve EZ. Most certainly. So that's a good bit of information there shared as well. Rogue then went even further. He went into his Columbo mode and went into full investigation and looked into the boat situation. And he says there is a boat here right at the San Pedro port, which is a Chinese one. So it just feels like that is the boat that will be for us. And he's done a bit more due diligence into it, and looked into all this information. It's all there. But in short, it looks to be that is the boat that is ready to go. Now, Rags yesterday put in prices went up to 0.1056. The boat is still outside as of yesterday, which is encouraging as well. Put in some information. There's the presentation there. People are thanking Plank for his investigation work, which is quite funny. And then Rags this morning put in that the supply prices went up to 1086, which is lovely. Look, there's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, some voice notes from myself and other people. Very, very bullish on it, guys. Everyone seems very, very happy. And this is an interesting article that came out today. Kodal Minerals leads our top 3 penny stocks. So the word is getting around. Media is getting coverage of Kodal Minerals. And this seems to be getting everybody excited, and messages are coming through as we're recording this video. A lot of great stuff there. I really appreciate everybody in the Discord that shares all that. Now let's look at the exciting stuff. Share prices, predictions, where we're going. To start, we'll look at the day chart. Okay, now straight off the bat, we're looking at RSI MACD. RSI is saying we're maybe starting to enter an overbought territory, but that is just a momentum indication, in my opinion. The MACD is showing that we are just crossing over. And when we just cross over, things tend to go pretty well. That is a good indication that there's more to come on this. But the thing that I'm really watching for is this 200-day moving average. Okay, so the 200-day moving average, if you're above that, you're in a bull run. Below that, you're in a bear run. Now we can scroll back here and we can see times that we've went into a bull run, what has happened. Now, previous indication, or what's happened previously, is never an indication of what happens going forward. But however, if we look at this level, when we broke above the 200-day moving average, we went on a run of about 900%. When we broke out of it at this level, we went on a run of about 234%. More recently then, when we broke out of it, we went on a run of about, I think it's about 50 odd percent. So we're back to this level. Now, considering everything that we've just discussed, fundamental news, the announcement that is due to come within sort of the next week that we've been paid, who is going to back that this is going to get rejected at the 200-day moving average? We're right on it right now. We're looking for a close above it, currently about 8% up. I am with it, considering the MACD's just crossed over. I foresee this definitely breaking through. If not before the news, on the news, we will break through. And realistically, we're going to go at least to 0.4. And if we actually look back at this, we could probably move this slightly more above. So yeah, you're looking at about this type of level, which is going to bring us about a sort of 23 odd percent rise. I just don't think that's enough of a push on this. If we even look back at other runs, chances are we're going to push on. So for me, the initial short-term target is going to be in and around this 0.5, 50% rise from here. But that is by no means bullish. I think that's quite reserved. I think that's almost a guarantee, in my opinion. Do your own diligence, not a financial advisor. But that is likely, in my opinion, to play out. Now, if we look at it a bit more, where could we likely go after that? Well, who's to say a 0.68 isn't achievable? That is realistically where I'm looking at, and that'll be a double your money scenario. That is something that I feel will come in this run. Now, it could go a lot higher. We look at the previous highs of 0.92. Who's to say we don't get to that level in the short term and the next sort of 6 months? Because realistically, in 2023, okay, supply prices were different. Maybe market conditions were a bit different, but it was based on hype in terms of Kodal Minerals fundamentally. They hadn't done anything. We've went through what they have achieved in that time, and we're in a far better position that we're about to generate revenue. So realistically, if we can get to that on hype, who's to say we can't get to that with fundamentals being strong? That's just my thoughts. You need to do your own due diligence, but in the short term, this looks very, very bullish. On the weekly chart, It also looks very, very good. The MACD is just about to cross over. We're waiting on that to confirm. But again, there's nothing here, nowhere near overbought or anything like that. So everything looks very good from a technical point of view and now a fundamental point of view. What is your thoughts? Leave your comments down below. I would love to get them. For me, Kodal Minerals has legs for days, whether it takes a couple of weeks, a couple of months. I feel like it's only a matter of time before this stock really takes off. Again, do your own due diligence, of course, but leave your comments down below. If you want to get into the Discord, the links are down below. Helps support the channel, and at very least, if you can just like and share and support the channel by subscribing, that would also be appreciated. I'll be back covering this stock, I'm sure, very, very soon. And until then, enjoy the rest of your day.